thanks for joining me today. My name's Nathan Garner. I'm the Director of Technical Services here at COP. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Team 6 side of the Hik-Connect app. So we're going to run through a basic introduction of Hik-Connect Team 6, what it actually brings to the table. We'll go through a live demo as well and cover the different features and functions of the cloud-based software. We'll also take a look at the licensing side of it as well. And we'll also go through how this kind of sits within the Hikvision software family compared to the Hike Central and the standard Hik-Connect, as well as also the Hik Partner Pro. And we'll also cover just a basic setup of how you'd start a new team from scratch through the app. And then at the end, we'll just have a short Q&A session. So if you have any questions throughout the webinar, if you drop them in the Q&A section within Teams, and then when we get to the end, I'll go through those questions and answer anything that hasn't been discussed throughout the slides and the live demo for that one. So Hik-Connect is now split in between personal mode and team mode. So personal mode is what we've all come to know and kind of love, and then the team mode is your cloud-based VMS type solution. So it's aimed at larger installs and for companies rather than sole users or for home installations. So this is a kind of overview of the Hik-Connect team. So you can see on our personal mode, we've got our live view and playback and our instant alarm notifications, as well as our intercom calls and stuff. And everyone's fairly familiar now with Hik-Connect. But in order to give it some additional functionality and to meet requirements of larger businesses and corporations, there's now the Teams mode. Now, this is aimed at small, medium businesses as well as enterprise users. So this allows you to have multiple users with audit trails and be able to stream your CCTV, control your access control and time and attendance, intercom, your onboard monitoring for vehicles, and also your alarm panels, such as the X Pro system, all remotely via the cloud instead of having a dedicated server on site. But this gives you better functionality than the standard Hik-Connect. So when you actually do pay for your licenses for Team 6, you're not limited to the 10-minute streaming window that you are on Hik-Connect. As long as you're paying for your licenses, it doesn't matter if you've port forwarded the system or anything like that. You can stream indefinitely remotely through the Teams mode on Hik-Connect. Now there's also the web app as well, which we're going to take a look at today during the live demo. So you're not just tied to only being able to use it on a mobile phone. If you're using it on desktop or anything like that, there's a full web portal that you can use, which we will be taking a look at. So what is Hik-Connect Team 6? So we've got the mobile app and then we've got the web client as well. Now within this we can have our video management system. So you can see in the top right hand corner we've got the web portal displaying there. We've also got the ability to add in our access control systems and centrally control them. And then we've got our intrusion detection systems, which is our AX Pro alarm panels. Now, additionally to that as well, you can bring in intercom systems and you can bring in the mobile surveillance solutions as well. Now, if you're a customer that is using the people counting or anything like that within the system, you don't need to now use Hik Central. You can actually tie that into Team 6 because there is a full BI report analysis built into Hik-Connect Team 6 as well. So you're not having to worry about having a physical server on site. You can run it as a full cloud-based VMS solution. So we've always had Hik-Connect for a number of years now, which is for our end users for a home installation. So you can see we've got our installer, which is using Hik Partner Pro. They then use it to manage the system, which is then shared to an end user through Hik-Connect, which is what's called a personal device. Now, if that same user works for a company as well, They'll be then split up into a company registration, and then on Hik-Connect, they can simply switch between the personal device and the company device. Now, with the company system, you can have multiple users, such as HR, managers, or employees that have access to the system, depending on the user's roles and what functionality they perform within the business, would then determine what user permissions and privileges that they need within the Team 6 software. Now, this is just a demo of the live view through the web client of the Team 6. So just click that and it will run through. Now, this is streaming directly live through Team 6. It's not using any port forwarding or anything like that. It's going straight through the cloud, and as you can see, it's very quick and smooth. Even though it's running through the web client, it's not a dedicated application that you need to install on your PC. Runs off a plugin and pulls straight through onto the web front end, which I know it's something that a lot of people have wanted for quite some time. Sorry about that. We can also run through our playback system through Hik Team 6 as well. So again, similar to how it works through Hike Central, you've got your live view and playback options at the top. So if you're in the live view, we can go at the top of the page, switch it to playback, and any cameras that we have open at the time in live view will automatically switch to play and back on the system, and you can select your date and times. Now, this is all done via the cloud. There's no port forwarding that's needed for this type of solution as well, so it's a lot more secure for the system as well, and that's what matters to a lot of people now, is the security of the systems. They don't want anyone else having access to them. We also have the health monitoring function, and I know this is popular across the board on Hik Partner Pro and on the Hike Central platform. And now this gives the ability for company owners and managers the ability to see the status of all their devices that are added into Team 6. So not having to rely on the installer to see if there's an issue or anything on site. They can see that without having to manually click through each of the cameras to see if the actual system is online. They can see it as a daily report, or just go in and see a live status of all the devices that are added into Team 6, and it will give you a breakdown of any errors or if there's anything missing from the system. And we can also go in and search the device logs as well, so we can see what's being done. So you can see that the admins logged in to get the remote status, if there's any alarms, or if there's any operations that have been done within the system as well. So it gives you that flexibility whilst also being able to see what users have done within Team 6. So it gives you that full auditable trail within the system. Now, within this, all of the data is encrypted end to end. So between the device or the recorder and cameras, it's encrypted all the way up until the cloud servers, and then from the cloud servers to the appliances, which would be your web front end or your mobile app. It's fully encrypted, so no one can access the video stream. So it gives you that peace of mind. And it's also accredited as well, which you can see in the bottom left-hand corner. And I will be sending out a copy of these slides as well at the end of the webinar as well, so you can use these with your customers should you need to when putting forward this type of solution to them. Now, I did already mention this briefly, but we have the BI report functionality within the Team 6 platform. So this gives us the ability to pull in our people counting reports and also our heat mapping from the fisheye cameras as well, which I know is quite popular for some customers that are doing different types of solutions now. Instead of it just being used, CCTV cameras being used for surveillance, all this additional metadata is allowing companies to tweak how they're actually marketing specific products or where they're placed within their businesses as well to get the most footfall. And this can all be pulled out in a daily, weekly or monthly report. You can even compare between different shops or anything like that as well. So it's a really powerful tool, and it's selling not just based on the CCTV side of it and the security side of it, but this is the data analysis that a lot of companies are now wanting to see the different types of footfall, where people are spending the most time within the shop, or it might be a gaming arcade or something similar, and they can see what's getting the highest usage. Now what I'll do is I'll just load up the web side of Team 6. Just drag this across. So you should be able to see that now. So this is our landing page for our Team 6 login. So you can see we have a recently viewed section, which just gives us the most recently viewed cameras for our user account. And then we have our health monitoring as an overview towards the bottom as well. So you can see I've got a few exceptions on some of the cameras that are added onto my system. Now I can drill straight down and just click on the exceptions there, and it will give me a list of the errors that's showing on the cameras. So you can see I've got a recorder that's offline. So it's showing the recording status of those cameras as being offline. And I can go in, I can look through each of the recorders as their group and see them all within the system. We also have our devices, so you can see our record there, and the record status is normal. You can see that I haven't got any schedules set on the cameras that are added to this recorder, just because I don't have a hard drive installed in the unit. So it gives us that quick overview of the health status to see if there's any problems. We can go into our system logs. So if we go into operation logs, I can select specific users. So I can search on Matthew, for example, and just search over the last 30 days to see if there's been any activity on the actual system itself from his user login. So you can see when he's logged into the system, whether it be from the mobile client. It'll also denote whether or not it was through Android or iOS. And it will also show if they're using the web portal as well, which would be on a PC through the system. We go back to our home page. Now to add in devices, it's really simple and easy. So we've got the devices tab. We can click on add device there. Now we can add in via a serial number. So if remote to the actual where you're based at that current time, you can input the serial number of the recorder and it will add it into the platform. You can also add via the LAN as well. So as long as your PC is connected to a local area network, you can manually add these into the system. So you can see I've got a couple of recorders and facial recognition terminals, which I can add from the local network in the system. So it gives you that flexibility to add it via the local network, which would still then connect it onto the cloud or via the serial number as well. Generally, I recommend adding the devices via the serial number. It's a lot easier and quicker, and you know you're adding the right device to the system at the time. We then have our team management. So this is where we can add in our different users as well as assign different permission levels. So you can see mine's the master admin on the account, but I can go in and I can change different people's user permissions, whether or not the user status is active or frozen. So frozen will be that the user account's there, but they're not able to log in. So I can remove access temporarily on that user. And I can break down the different permissions that I want. I can also add in a new role if I wanted to. And then I can break down the types of permissions that I want, whether or not I want the user to only be able to play back. If I want them to be able to go in the device maintenance section or the group management, I can give them that permissions. I can also set how long the effective period is for this new role that I'm creating. I can also set it to active or inactive if I wanted to as well. And I can give it a description in there. And then that creates a new test role, which then I can assign to Matthew in this example. Click save, it's now assigned to him as a permission set. So you can control the amount of information or devices that each individual user has access to, whether or not it's live view, playback, if you just want them to be able to remotely unlock doors, or if it's a HR person, for example, and you just want them to be able to get the attendance reports from the system. You can limit all that function down as well for your customer. Now, if we go into our service details, this gives us an overview of the license that we've got currently active on the system and that are in use. So you can see I've got 108 channels that are available to me, and I'm currently using 23 of them. And it will also say how many licenses are available as well. So any additional systems that I can add on. If we go into our email settings, this is where we can set up our SMTP details. So any reports, anything offline, can send an email similar to how the Hike Central platform works as well. I go into our video section. This is where we can live view our different cameras. Just let me refresh this. It's just broken on my resolution. Apologies about that. It looks like it's messed up on the monitor that I've got connected just for this webinar, but I'll show you that on the PowerPoint slides as well. That's just an issue on my laptop. What we can also do is if we go into our device section, what we can do is we can actually go into the remote configuration of our devices. So if click on the operation cog there. Now what this will do is take us directly into the web front end of that recorder. If there's anything that we need to change direct on the unit itself, whether or not it be adding cameras, removing cameras, or changing the events on the system itself, we can actually go in and do all that through the web client without having to log in again. It's already authenticated us through the Hik-Team 6 login, and we're not having to port forward to be able to get into any of these settings either. So it gives your customers flexibility, especially from a company perspective. If they have their own IT and they manage the systems themselves, they can do that in-house without needing to speak to the installer, or you can limit this down so they can't do this side of things through Team 6, and only you can do it through the Hik-Partner Pro portal as well. So you can do that and just give you that different types of flexibility within the system, depending on how you want to work with your customers within that. We can also set up our mapping side of things as well. So we can configure a map within the system. By default, it automatically pulls in Google Maps, so we can set our different locations, especially if a company's got multiple sites across the UK or globally. You can drop these into the system, so it makes it really easy for an operator to see where an alarm's being triggered or to find the cameras that they need for that specific site as well. So it makes it really user-friendly to be able to pull those in. And it's one of the preferred features from the Hike Central platform as well. So you're not having to scroll through camera lists. You can actually use a dedicated map to see where the cameras are as well. So that's just a basic on the web side of things. Now we're just going to take a look more at some of the additional functionalities. So we've got the access control system, which is fully integrated into the Team 6. So you don't need to have an on-premises solution now. You can manage all of your access control systems via the cloud, which I know is becoming a lot more popular in the access control arena. So with Hikvision now, you do have this solution with Team 6. So you're not having to have a laptop or PC or server on site running the software to be able to manage your access control system. And it's dead easy with the new configuration tool. So it actually takes you through step by step, setting up a full access control system within the wizard of Team 6 as well. So it makes sure that none of the steps are missed during the configuration, because that's something that we do see a lot. If we have any issues, it's generally just one setting that's missing. So with Team 6, it does guide you through step by step on your first couple of systems. We also have the ability for real-time monitoring. So through the Team 6 platform, you can see the status of all the doors that are added into the system. If they're the facial recognition terminals or the intercom door stations, you can actually see the live view of the video. And for facial recognition, you can actually see as the person scans through whether or not it was a known person, and the details of that person as well as a real-time function. There's also the ability to bring in the intercoms. Now, this is something that's been used for quite a while within Hik-Connect, but when you get onto larger scale systems, you can actually fully manage the intercom solution through Team 6. So that'll be the maintenance side of it, adding on additional door stations and indoor stations. You could do it all through the Team 6 platform rather than with the current solution where you use Hik-Connect and then you'll configure it with IVMS 4200 or through the web front end. For larger commercial properties, you do it all through HIC Team 6, and it gives you the ability to add in temporary passes. There's also Bluetooth that's coming in as well that you can actually tie in. It's all fully cloud-based, so there's nothing on site that needs to be running. It just needs the actual physical devices themselves connected to the internet, and you can then manage and control them through Team 6. Now, I did touch on this previously, it's just the onboard vehicle monitoring system. So that is all fully integrated into Team 6. So if you have a fleet of vehicles with mobile recorders installed on, if you're using the mapping section, you can actually see the real-time GPS tracking data of all the vehicles, what the current speed is of the vehicle, if it's on its planned route or if it's gone off its pre-planned route. It can actually trigger alarm to your users within the system as well. So it gives you lots of flexibility and also the scalability because it is a cloud-based system. You're not having to worry about the infrastructure and on-site hardware to be able to run this. It's all taken care of in the cloud platform. You've also got the comparisons to IVMS 4200 as well. So this has been a software that's been used by multiple customers now for smaller commercial properties where they'll have IVMS 4200 installed on a PC. Now, there's limitations to this is that each PC would in turn need to be configured individually. It's also quite heavy on resource on those PCs as well. It is limited to 256 cameras, and the smoothness of the operation is quite limited when you're running through Connect. And now on the HIC on the IVMS 4200 side of things, it is limited to the amount of time that you have streaming, especially if it's remote devices that are going through Hik-Connect, unless they are manually port forwarded. Whereas the Team 6 solution gives you the ability to use a web client. It's quite light on the PC as well, so the customer isn't needing to have a high-end desktop or laptop to be able to view the cameras. So there is a cost saving there in terms of the physical hardware that's needed on site. Now, something that I get asked quite a lot about is how the different softwares are used. So this is a great little explanation of how the different software platforms sit together within the Hikvision portfolio. So we've got our HIC Partner Pro solution. Now this is aimed for installers as a maintenance and configuration tool and gives them the business insights that they need and allows them to remotely configure sites and also run remote maintenance for their customers. And this allows them to give a co-branded experience and also use the employee management system as well. So that's dedicated to installers and system integrators. Hik-Connect as a standard personal mode is aimed at smaller domestic use and for those that don't need to be able to continuously live view the system, and this is limited up to 128 cameras within the personal mode. For larger business and enterprise solutions, we then move on to Teams mode. Now, this isn't limited to the number of cameras that you can add onto the system. It is fully flexible depending on the number of licenses that you purchase. And it does come with a free solution as well. So you can have 8 cameras, 4 doors and 2 rooms. Now, this would be then limited on the live view. Once you then pay for the licenses, it then removes the time limit of the 5 minutes when you're live viewing a system. And then we have the HIC Central Professional, and this is for your large on-site VMS solutions. Now, this is a license-based system where you need dedicated hardware running either a server or a workstation if it's a smaller all-in-one solution. So there's the differences between the two. Hik-Connect Teams mode is a fully cloud-based VMS, whereas Hik-Connect Professional is for your on-site VMS solutions as well, where your customers are still wanting to have physical servers on site if it's a control room for that type of thing. Now, this is just comparison between the Teams mode and the personal mode within Hik-Connect. So the personal mode is free of charge and there is just the app. You can share devices up to a maximum of 10 users and you can live view up to 16 cameras at once, but you are limited to a 5-minute live view period and you can have up to 128 channels. Whereas on the Teams mode, you have the app as well as the web client. You have the additional functionality in terms of the licenses, and there isn't a maximum number of cameras that you can add onto the system. It can scale as much as yourself or your customer needs it to as well. Now, this is the easiest way to see the breakdown in terms of the functionality between the two. And obviously, this is something that I will share out to everyone that's on this webinar. So you can see there's additional functionalities from personal mode to team mode. So you can get customizations done within Teams mode to meet your specific requirements or your customers' requirements. There's also the vehicle side of things as well. So you can actually manage your AMPR lists through the Teams mode. Whereas you can with the standard personal mode. We also have the integration of the BI reporting module for people counting and heat mapping. Now, for the licenses themselves, there are a few licenses that you need. So on our website, if you go into software and hardware and then software again, we have the Hik-Connect Team 6. So you can see there's a handful of licenses that are available. Now there is the ability to have either a 1-month subscription or a yearly subscription. And it's really easy to order. We could just go into the video one channel. So this is just for the CCTV side of things. We can go straight in, put how many camera channels we're needing for the system that we're going to purchase for our customer for a year. And we can just click add to basket within that. We'll put it straight in our basket on the website. Now, it usually takes a couple of days for these licenses to come through. It's similar to how Hike Central works, where you'd get emailed a code that you would then enter in on your Team 6 login. You can apply it through Hik Partner Pro, or you can give that license code direct to your customer as well, dependent on how you are using it with them. Now, in terms of the strategy for Team 6 licensing, end users would purchase these through installers. Installers would then buy it from national distributors like ourselves here at COP, and then COP would then purchase these from Hikvision. Obviously, with Hik Partner Pro, they're purchased directly through the Hik Partner Pro portal, whereas Team 6 is an offline order processing system where you physically purchase license codes from your distributor, and that's where you would then get access to the system. Now, this is just briefly going through to create a new team on Hik-Connect. It's dead easy to do. You go from personal mode, go to services page, and it will give you an option to create a new team. You configure what your team is going to be, whether or not it's an office, community, anything like that. It gives you like default options within the system, what services are going to be used, and you can generate that through there. Now, if you've got a customer that is wanting to trial Team 6, if you speak to ourselves here at COP or the Hikvision BDMs, we can then get trial licenses for you to be able to test the system with your customer to see if it meets their requirements as well. So they don't have the initial outlay straight away to test, see if it works. We can get trial licenses to help you onboard your customer to the solution. And once they're happy with it, they then buy the licenses through yourselves. You can also deliver the licenses through Hik Partner Pro. So instead of actually having to input the license codes on the Team 6 login as an installer, you can purchase the license code from ourselves, and then you can input it into your Hik-Partner Pro solution to activate the customer system. And you can also create the customers team through Hik-Partner Pro as well to give you the maintenance and management side of things and link it to your Hik-Partner Pro account. So it's not separating the two systems out. It works similar to how you work currently with Hik-Connect with Hik-Partner Pro. And it's the same type of thing in terms of the permissions as well. So it does give you the option to get the permission from your customer to live view the system or access it where needed on Hik-Partner Pro, which is then GDPR compliant as well. So that's just a brief overview of Hike Team 6. There'll be additional videos and how-to guides that we will be posting out online. And our teams here at COP are more than happy to go through any questions that you have. And if you do have any questions on the webinar now, if you put them in the Q&A section, I can work through those questions online. Don't think anyone's put any questions in that I can see. Look, I think we're all good there. But if you do have any questions and you don't want to put it in the Q&A section, please feel free to email our pre-sales email address and the team will be able to reply to any questions that you've got or speak to our sales team as well. We'll be more than happy to run you through the system. We can also do live demos with your customers as well, and it's also something that Hikvision can help out with. But I appreciate you all joining me this morning, and I've kept my promise and didn't make it death by PowerPoint, so it's fairly short and sweet, but gives you enough to be able to get an inkling on what Team 6 is and the differences between the different softwares that are now available from Hikvision. But thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you on the next webinar. Thanks very much, guys. Bye.